Hello students, I hope that you are good, well and fine. So in this session we will be mainly talking about differentiability, its definition, its theorems. Okay, so differentiability, algebra of derivatives, derivatives of certain standard functions, theorems, corollaries, derivative of composite functions, and then chain rule. The main and the very important thing is chain rule. Okay, you will be facing many questions, okay, related to this chain rule. Now let us move to the next slide. So the main thing, suppose we have a function f. Suppose we have a function f which is a real function. Real function means domain is real and output is also real. Clear? Now C is a point in domain. We always talk about C, a point which is in domain. Now what? Now derivative of f at C we define in such a way. What way? That in terms of limits. Okay, limits. Okay, so here the limit is given here. So limit h tends to 0 where f c plus h minus f of c divided by h will be what? Provided this limit exists, then if this limit exists, then we say, what we say? That f is a derivative, yes, derivative of f at c exists and it is denoted by this, or in other notation denoted by this thing. Okay, clear? Okay, this thing means this whole thing. Clear? Okay, the function defined by f dash x is just nothing but x is, now we just replace c by x, that's it. F dash x means limit h tends to 0 f of x plus h minus fx divided by h. Okay, now let us move to next slide. Now notation, as derivative of f is denoted by f dash x, or in this form whatever it means. Okay, or if y is equals to fx, okay, by dy over dx or y dash, many notations. Okay, first is this, second one you can use this, third one is this, fourth one is this. Okay, all represent only one thing, the derivative of f. The process of finding derivative of a function f is called to be differentiation. Okay, this process where we define our, where we find our derivatives, we call that process as differentiation. Okay, we use the phrase differentiate fx with respect to x, okay, to mean that this is going to happen. Okay, clear? Okay, now let us move to next. So algebra of derivatives. So quite simple algebra of derivatives. In previous session we discussed about algebra of continuity, where we were what we saw your, if two continuous functions are added, then their result to be continuous, their difference to be continuous, their product going to be continuous, their quotient will going to be continuous. Obviously everything must be defined in precisely a correct way. Okay, now the same thing will happen if you have what, that u a continuous function, v another continuous, then their sum or their difference is also going to be, they're also going to be differentiable. So this means like u dash and v dash. Okay, their product is also going to be like this, which will be in this form. First of all, how you will use, how will you remember? Very simple, first function, second function. So use the first function derivative, second untouched. Now second function derivative, first untouched, and put plus sign. Okay, now go for quotient. Now in denominator put square, as you can see. Now here the denominator part will be untouched, the derivative of the numerator. Now numerator remains untouched, the derivative of denominator, and the minus sign. Okay, I hope that it is clear to you. Okay, now let us move to next. Now, some of the following list of derivatives. standard functions. Okay, so here fx is x power n, then its derivative is n multiply with x power n minus 1. Okay, this n is now in this position, or it is now become the coefficient of x, and the power will be reduced what to 1 degree, as you can see, n minus 1. Now sin x differentiable is cos x to minus sin x, tan x to sec x. Okay, you will see that how we will get these, but for now you have to memorize them. You have to. Okay, let us move to next. Now, if a function f is differentiable at point c, then it is also continuous at that point. Okay, a theorem. So this theorem says if a function is differentiable at point c, okay, if a function is differentiable at point c, okay, then it is going to be continuous. Okay, if someone says that fx is continuous at 5, this means it is also fx is differentiable at 5, this means it is continuous at 5. If someone says that fx is continuous at 5, then can it be true that f is differentiable at 5? No, the reverse of this is not true. You will see. Okay, clear? Corollary is that every differentiable function is continuous. As you can see, every differentiable function is your continuous function. Every differentiable function is continuous, as you can see. Okay, now let's see some example. So fx is defined in this manner. So we have to we have to examine the differentiability. Okay, so far so good. So how we can examine the differentiability? Quite easy. That first of all we have to do what? The limit, obviously. What limit? The limit s tends to 0 f of c plus h minus f of c divided by s. That's what we have to find out. Okay, so far so good. So okay, now we have to find the differentiability at what points. Okay, so we have to examine the differentiability as so far so good. So how you can define the how you are going to approach is quite simple. The approach is quite simple. What? That first of all you have to do what? Use this definition. Using this definition, what you will see is that pick a point. Suppose you are picking this point. You are picking this minus 3 point. Okay, you are picking this minus 3 point. Then c is your what? Minus 3. This will be what? F of minus 3 will be what? As you can see, 2x. This will be 2 minus 3 plus 3. This will be minus of 3. This will be 3. Now what about this? What about this? F of minus 3 plus h, where h is obviously we are taking any positive thing. Okay, so far so good. So this will be what you will be using, this thing. So this will be 2 times minus 3 plus h plus 3. This will be what? Minus 3 plus 2h. Okay, this will be what? 3 to 3 will get cancelled. You will only left with 2h. Okay, so you will only left with 2h. This and this will be cancelled. This means it is differentiable. Okay, and it is what? F dash of minus 3 is equals to 2. Okay, clear? Okay, so far so good. I hope that it is clear to you now. Okay, so okay, now what I'll be doing for this, then I am leaving for c is equals to minus 2 and for 0 for you. Okay, now s tends to 0. F of 1 plus h minus f of 1 divided by h. F of 1 will be what? 1 plus 2, which is minus of 3. Minus of 3. Now, 1 plus h means what? 1 plus h means what? As you can see, 1 plus h means what? It is quite simple. 1 plus h. Okay. So, one thing or the another variation for this will be also, it can be rewritten as, if you try to see what, that limit s, we write as like this thing. Okay. Sorry, see, like this thing. If h is replaced by what x tends to c, then what will happen? Then what will happen? This will be x minus c. This will be x. This will be c. Yes? Yes? This is what happening here. Yes. Okay. So, this means what? That we are approaching towards C. So, I'll be using this definition. Okay. This means what? That we are approaching x towards 1. We are approaching x towards 1. This means what? X approaching to 1. This means x minus 1. F of x minus f of 1. F of 1 will be just 3. So f of x, now what I will be using, as you can see, you can only approach towards 1 using this function. So this means x plus 2. This will be x minus 1. So this means limit exists and its value will be just 1. Okay, its value will be just 1. I hope that it is clear. So please do either use this or the previous definition, and please do it for this also. Okay, I hope that it is clear. Okay, now, okay, now what? Now let us move to next. Okay, and also if you try to graph it, so let me just graph it for you quickly. So for minus 3 to minus 2, your graph will look like what? X, if x is 0, then y is 3. If y is 0, then x will be minus 3 by 2. This means minus 1.5, somewhere here. Yes, so your graph will be like this. Okay, in this interval, your graph will be like this. At minus 2, it will be what? Minus of 1. As you can see, this point will be minus of 1. Okay. Now for minus 2 to 0, your graph will be what? This is my 0. X plus 1. X is 0, y is 1. So 1. Okay. Now at x is equals to minus 1. So x is equals to minus 1, it will be 0. So your graph, and for minus 2, it will be minus 1. Minus 2, it will be minus 1, as you can see. Okay. So your graph will be like this. Okay. As you can see, at minus 2, what you are getting at minus 2? At minus 2, you are getting minus of 1. So your graph will be like this. Okay, now for 0 to 1, if x is 0, then y is 2. If x is 0, this is 1. If x is 0, then y is 2. Say this is 2. Then, okay. And if x is 1, then y is 3. If x is 1, then y is 3. So far, so good. If x is 1, then y is 3. Y is 3. If x is 0, then y is 2. If x is 0, then y is 2. So this graph will look like, in this interval will be this. Okay. Graph will be like this, as you can see. Jump. Okay. This means it is not continuous at 0, as you can also see that f of 0 will be 2 and f of left hand side limit will be just 1. So not continuous at 0. Okay. I hope now you can very easily find the derivative. Okay, let us move to the next. Now, to study the derivative of composite functions, we have to start with an illustrative example. Okay, so illustrative example we have to start with. So take an example. So what example you have to take? Very simple. This fx is equals to 2x plus 1 whole cube. Fx is equals to 2x plus 1 whole cube. Now what? Now what we can say? We want to find the derivative of f. Okay, so far so good. So how you can approach? Quite simple. The approach is very unique. The approach is very clear and very simple. If you remember that, so we want our derivative. So we will first of all expand using binomial theorem. So expanding using binomial theorem, this will give me a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square, like this. Okay, now what? Now it will be just derivative with respect to x. This means you all know that x power n means what? So n x power n minus 1. So this means 4 will be multiplied with 8. This means 24. Okay, clear? And it will be x square. Okay, sorry, this 3 will be multiplied with 8. So this will be 24. And 3 minus 1 will be x square. The same will happen. 24 x 6. Now take 6 common. You will have 2x plus 1 whole square. Now this is what? Fx is equals to h of gx. Fx is equals to h of gx. What is our h? What is our g? As you can see, hx is just nothing but 6x square and gx is nothing but 2x plus 1. That's it. Okay, 2x plus 1. So this means h of g means 2x plus 1 will be same as 6 times of 2x plus 1 whole square. That's what it is written over here. Okay, clear? I hope that it is clear. So fx is same as this thing. Fx is composition of this. Okay. Okay. So this means what? As you can see, this is what happening. Gx I am taking as 2x plus 1. Hx I am taking at x square. Okay. It will be x square, I think. Okay. X square, not cube. Otherwise this will not follow. Okay, otherwise this will be not following. Okay, now put t is equals to gx. So this means what? This means then what will happen? Fx, if you put t is equals to gx, then what will happen? This will happen that h of x will be h of t. Yes, this means what? As we already know that fx is equals to h of g of x, and we use t is equals to gx, which is this thing. So this will be t. So this means t cube. This means t cube. Okay, I think it will be t cube. Okay, clear? It will be, yes, cube if you are looking that way. Okay, clear? Okay, now what? Now what will happen? Now, as you can see that if you derivate of f with respect to x, then what will happen? Now, as you can see, what is, you already evaluated this. This must be saying as 3 multiply with this, and this we just broke it. And this is just same as 3t square multiply with 2, and 3t square is just nothing, derivative of h with respect to t, and this is just what? Derivative of t with respect to x. Derivative of t with respect to x, which is, as we already know, t is equals to 2x plus 1. If you derivate it, so dt over dx, you will get just 2. Okay, So this means d of f dx, if f is equals to h composition g, then f derivative will be same as dh by dt multiplied with dt by dx. This thing where df by dx. Okay, so one thing I have to give it, that I'm taking this as x cube. Okay, I'm not comparing this form, but I'm comparing the actual form. So fx is 2x plus 1, and I'm writing this fx with using composition. So what composition I'm using? I'm using these compositions. Okay, clear? So sorry for that. Okay, so this will be your this thing. Hx will be of this form by using these as your hx and gx, as it is already given everything here. Okay, clear? Okay, I hope that it is clear to you. So this will be eliminated here. This is not same. Okay, sorry for this error. Okay, so d of f by dx will be dh by dt multiplied with dt by dx. Okay, I hope that it is clear. Okay, let us move to next. Now chain rule, the important thing, the chain rule. So f be real valued function which is composite of two functions u and v, like this. Suppose t is equals to this thing. If both exist, then we have this thing. This means if f is a composition of u and v, then df by dx will be same as dv by, or you can say if you are using v here, u here, dv by dt multiply with dt by dx. This thing. Okay, clear? Or where what we used t as our ux. This is also important. We use t as our ux, as we just already saw by using an example. Okay, where we took gx is equals to t, yes or no? Okay, I hope that it is clear. Okay, so this is what your chain rule says. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Let us see some examples. So fx is composition of h and gx. What h is? hx is sin x, gx is your x square. This means h of g will be sine of x square. This means what? d of f dx will be same as what I will be using as t, this thing. I will be using this thing. So this means d of h by dt. Now dt by dx I will be using. So dh by dt will be what? dh by dt. You all know. Okay, dh by dt means h of gx is now t. So this will be sine of t. So this derivative will be what? As you already know, cos x. So cos x multiply with dt by dx means dt by dx means just put 2 here and minus 1 sign. Okay, so it will be just 1. So 2x. So your final answer will be 2x cos x. Okay, clear? I hope that it is simple. By just using chain rule we are doing this. Okay, so far you have to remember just some of the standard forms, the chain rule, okay, and the main definition. That's what you only have to do. Now here again we have to use the chain rule. Let's see. So fx, first of all I need to know what will be the composition. So fx h of gx. Okay, so hx I must be defining cos x, and gx I must be defining ax plus b. So very easy to define. Inside thing define gx, outside thing define hx. Okay, now taking this is equals to t, your h of t will be what? Cos of t. Yes, so this means dh by dt will be minus sine t, and from this what you can say, dt by dx will be a, just a. Okay, and df by dx will be dh by dt multiply with dt by dx. This will be what? As you can see, this will be sine. Okay, this will be minus of sine t. Okay, and dt by dx will be what? A. So this, and we have to replace our t with the original form in terms of x. So this means my df by dx will be this a minus sine t, where t is this. Okay, so I can rewrite like this. Okay, so your final answer will be like this. Okay, please remember to substitute it back into the final answer. Okay, clear? I hope that now you are getting familiar with what is differentiability, what its definition says, how you approach toward question, why chain rule is a main thing in differentiability, and all sort of things. Okay, very simple things we are doing. Clear? So that's it for now, I think. Okay, yes, I think that's it for now. So I have to stop it here. So thank you all. We will be back with more theory and the more problems for this chapter, chapter 5, continuity and differentiability. Again, thank you.